What's going on, everybody? Okay, so I wanted to do a quick review for Superman because there's a lot of retards out in the YouTubes and all this that they always have a narrative. I want it coming from the guy that is a connoisseur of movies and also writes movies and also plays works on movies, like coming from somebody that actually does stuff and not just talks on the internet all the time. So I wanted to kind of give an honest review. I wanted to show some stuff, but if I get copyright if I show anything. Maybe some pictures I'll show or something. And there is spoilers. So if you don't want to listen to this retard talk about the movie and there's spoilers, wait till after you watch the movie and then come watch my retarded take on stuff. Okay, so the movie starts off just like the trailer does, where Superman is in the sky and all of a sudden just drops and he's on the ground all freaking busted up. And then he calls the dog and the dog comes and pulls him to pulls him to safety, pulls him home. So you're introduced to Superman and you're introduced to the dog like right off the get. And he gets back to home and the Superman robots are there and basically drag him to like a it's almost like a table type thing and like a chair, and then it has like a direct sunlight, like not a laser but kind of, where it basically harnesses the sun so it turns it into like a beam, and he's sitting there and he's getting recharged with the beam. And then he gets his bearings, he gets his power back because of the sun. And then he is going to leave to go back to the fight who he was fighting. And the dog, of course, is there, like biting at his legs and everything else. He's like, "Stay, no, you stay." So the dog's all sad and he stays. So then he goes back and he starts fighting. I believe his name was the Hammer, and he was like this dude with this big suit thing on, just busting up Superman. And it was a design from Lex Luthor. I was gonna say Lex Luthor. Our wrestling episode is on Sunday, so yeah, we're gonna talk about wrestling and actors in wrestling. Anyway, Lex Luthor is controlling this thing who he created, and they're watching everything from a bunch of cameras where they're basically telling this guy where to move because they've been studying Superman for so long that they know how Superman operates. They know how he works and all that stuff. So then nothing really becomes of the fight. Superman gets his ass kicked again, and then people have to like pick him up off the ground. There was a lot of Superman getting his ass kicked in this one, which I kind of expected it because Superman is indestructible. So you're literally going to have to bring hell with you to try to at least do something against this guy. So it's like he's going to get piled on. He's going to have all these forces coming at him. It's Superman for number one. I mean, he's indestructible. So I kind of, going into the movie, I kind of expected that. Well, you can't fight Superman one-on-one. You have to cheat, and you have to have as much firepower as possible against this guy. So then the fight ends. Lex Luthor basically says that we've got Superman. He's an idiot, and we got him. And we're going to be able to do whatever we want because we pretty much own Superman now. He can't fight Hammer, let alone anything else that we throw at him. And at this point, Lex Luthor is like bound and determined to eliminate Superman at all costs. If it means destroying the planet, but Superman doesn't exist, he's going to do it. So he's like a vindictive Lex Luthor. And he is in high powers of government. And he's telling people that, well, Superman is he's a problem and we need to eliminate him. So he's trying to get the DOJ. He's trying to get everybody to basically turn on Superman. And they're like, no, we're not going to do that. He's a net positive in the world. We're not going to do that. So then they find Superman's lair. And somehow, and it's revealed toward the end of the movie, somehow they got access to the lair. And they will tell you that like off the get. They just walk in and all of a sudden it's like, how did they? And they destroyed all the Superman robots. One of the people, and forgive me if I don't have all the characters down, Pat. There's a woman that basically she morphs her body into anything, and she can create needles, and she can basically take energy from stuff. So they go to Superman's sort of like his computer where his parents have a video that he always watches and information about Superman, and she basically extracts all that data and all that information about him to try to get dirt on him so they could destroy him. He already knew about kryptonite, so that wasn't something he needed to know. He already knew about it. But they wanted to get anything that they could to destroy Superman and use it against them so that he could get the government after Superman. It turned him into a turn him into a bad guy. So they got this video of Superman's parents, his real parents, and he'd only able to decode like half of the video. And Lex Luthor basically, and they never really went into it, but I'm assuming that it was just a scam, is he decoded the last half of the video, and they're basically like, yeah, we're sending you there to grow up in peace and then destroy everybody and kill everybody and murder everybody. And then Lex Luthor broadcast it on television, so everybody turned against Superman and was like, "You're a sick fucker! Like, like you literally are here to kill us and eat us and burn us alive and all this other crazy stuff." So that's where they started victimizing Superman, and they started in the commercial. They were in the trailer. They were throwing shit at him, and like you saw, like a bottle hit him in the head and all that stuff. Because they were pissed because he had decoded this video on the second half of the video where his parents are basically like, we're gonna send you there to basically fuck him up and kill him and all this other stuff. So they so Lex Luthor basically says, okay, now we can capture Superman because he's a dickhead and he's gonna kill everybody, so we need to get him. So they captured him, and they basically took him to this world where Lex Luthor created like this pocket portal, where it's sort of like an alternate universe that he's using for like a prison type thing. And he sent Superman there, and he's fucking him up because it's basically he has no access to sun. So he's going to get worn down, and the sun's not going to revive him because there's no access to sun. So then he gets one of the people that's a prisoner there who could morph himself into different things, and he morphed himself into kryptonite. And Superman's all fucked up on the ground. He's all like going nuts. And the guy that's there that turns himself into kryptonite hand, and his little baby is there captured, and all he wants to do is hold his son. But he can't hold his son because he's captured. So he sees his son, and it kind of drives him crazy. And he's like, "Can you help me? I need my son. I need my son." So he just goes going freaking nuts. And then he's like, Superman's like, so this guy basically gets rid of his hand, so it's not kryptonite. So but Superman's still all messed up. And he's like, well, I can't do anything about the sun, but I can do this. And he basically turned him into like a big power, like it's almost like a neutron atom or something, where it's like super hot, powerful, and super like concentrated. And it kind of like revamped Superman, and Superman completely just annihilated the freaking cage he was in. It's like a glass cage. And then there was some awesome, and I don't want to go into huge details, but there's this awesome like, trying to save the baby, and there's all this it almost looks like lava, but it's sort of like it's like lava, but not really. It's almost like a neutron or an atom lava type thing, where it looks like lava, but it's not. It's like a neutron bath or something, and it was almost like a river type thing, and they were scared of it. Like, whoa, this is like these are something that nobody's ever seen before, because he, like I said, Lex Luthor basically made this pocket warp. And there's this whole action sequence about them saving the baby and then saving the guy that helped them. And then Lois Lane and Mr. Terrific were there trying to figure out what happened to Superman. So they find the portal, and they're standing like at the entrance of the portal and everything. And then they finally all escape. Like they're barely escape because this portal is kind of closing in, because it's real like active and it's real sensitive, and it's literally just, you can breathe and the shit's going to close up and everybody's going to be trapped in there. So everybody gets out. So then that guy takes his little baby and he's gone. And then there's some other action. And like I said, I'm not going to, like, there's spoilers, so I am talking about the movie. But I'm not going to go into every grave detail, but there's different fights that are happening with Mr. Terrific and the Hawkgirl. And obviously they look at the world differently than Superman does, because Superman wants to do everything more, with morals to it. And they're like, no, we need to kill everybody and screw your morals, basically. And so they're getting in these different fights, and you can kind of tell the difference between Superman and these other people. And the problem that I had was Superman was getting beat up, and I understand that he's getting beat up. Like, you literally have to have hell come down and kill Superman, because he's literally immortal. So you need all these forces coming at Superman. And because, I mean, I pretty much expected that. So then he goes back to Lois Lane, and he's in a relationship with Lois Lane, which was kind of, it was kind of weird, because he's speaking as Clark Kent, but he's also speaking as Superman, and she does this like interview, and they get irritated with each other because it's sort of like this weird argument where she's trying to like press him as a reporter, but he's also in a relationship with her. So it was that whole scene was kind of weird, where they were there, where he agreed for her to interview him as Superman, and it was just kind of a weird scene. So then during this time, like I said, there's different things that are happening throughout the movie. And I'm trying to think what happened next. Superman's going around, and there's this big, huge a thing that kind of started like a small thing, and it turned into this huge thing that basically distracts Superman so that he's doing other things, as Lex Luthor is basically trying to get everything in place for basically just taking everybody out, and taking Superman out, especially because he's obsessed with taking Superman out in this entire movie. So then Superman goes back to home. He sees that the robots are destroyed, and that all this information was given to him from his home. And then he has to kind of figure out, like, where my parents were really lying. So he was kind of like, my parents, sent me here on false pretenses. So there was a lot of struggle with that throughout the movie, where he wasn't sure why his parents sent him there. And then he got into some more fights and some more battles and stuff. And then they had to hide him out a little bit so he could recoup. They took him to the Kent's house. He recouped at the Kent's, had a dialogue, and had a couple scenes with the Kents, which were nice little scenes. And then toward the end of the film, there was basically they had created that like I said, it's kind of a river, and it's kind of like neutrons and all kinds of matter that's being created by like a machine that was created by Lex Luthor. And he started it, and he wants to do it to just completely annihilate the city, because he wants anytime that Superman tries to do something, he wants to be there so that he can destroy Superman. So Superman is trying to trying to figure out what's going on with this river thing that keeps on destroying things in its path, and it's taking out freaking buildings and all this other stuff. And then they find out that it's being done by Lex Luthor, so they have to reverse it. So they have technology that he's using to do it. So Superman is in the middle of battling with some of Lex Luthor's guys, and then you find out that one of the guys is a clone of Superman, and he's like a weird looking clone of Superman, but he's got some of his DNA, and that's how he was able to go into the base at the beginning of the movie. So there's some different battles and all kinds of craziness. Like it was action packed for sure. Like it kept you on your seat the whole time, which was great. I mean, I thought it was great. And then he goes and kills those people. Then he finally meets up with Lex Luthor, and he basically figures out that he's done. They reversed that river. His guys are gone, and Lex Luthor's just like, I hate you with a passion. So Lex Luthor really just he has the attitude where I'm annihilating him at all costs. If the Earth is gone, but Superman is gone with it, then that's fine. He's okay with that, because he's going to create other portals and other universes so that he can go there, and he's safe. And it was all based off of kind of politics, where not necessarily politics, but Lex Luthor he's in the government, but he's also selling weapons for Luthor Corp and all this other stuff to countries that are at war with each other. So he is constantly sticking his nose in because he wants to sell weapons to everybody. So Lex Luthor's the evil villain trying to take Superman out, but he's also making money from the governments that are trying to take each other out. So it's this constant fear for over here because people don't want to be bombed on. Superman's a problem. All these other people are problems. And Lex Luthor is in the center of it, creating it all. So that kind of gives you the gist. I want to give you every little nook and cranny of it, but I wanted to give you kind of the gist of what the movie is about, and I enjoyed it. Some of the things that I liked about it, and then some of the things I didn't like about it. So some of the things I did like about it. I see. Julio rated at a 10. That's not bad. Not bad. Supergirl was cute at the end, but she was drunk, so and we'll talk about that a little bit. And so some of the things I liked about it. I liked the fact that it was action packed the whole time. Like it kept you on your seat. There was action everywhere. You didn't know who was the good guy, who was the bad guy. Some of the villains were cool, even though they kept masks on people. Some people had masks. Some people you didn't know if you could trust them. So I do like the fact that they kind of kept you on your seat because you didn't know who to trust and who was a good guy, who was a bad guy, because it's like you don't know who's in it for themselves. So I did like that. Some of the things I didn't like about it was the Hawkgirl, Mr. Fantastic, and some of the other ones. I thought Mr. Fantastic was a great character, but it to me, it was basically they were setting themselves up for movies for them, for Mr. Fantastic, or for Hawkgirl, for Supergirl. So it was almost like, yes, it's Superman, but we're gonna push other characters so that we can make movies on them. And I didn't like that. The movie's called Superman. It's not called Superman with a bunch of people that we're gonna push on you. So I wasn't necessarily a fan of that, which I understand because all of these things are coming at Superman, so he did need help, and I completely get that. But the way that they set it up, it's kind of like, well, look at this person. We're going to make a new movie about him. Click. Oh, look at this person. We're going to make another movie about this guy. Click. So it's like there was a lot of that, and it's like, not a huge fan. Not a huge fan of that type of stuff. So it's like I like organic stories. I don't like being force-fed stories and just like, oh, we're going to make a movie about this person, so we're just going to put him in this scene for some reason. And it's like, I don't like that stuff. I want organic stuff, So I wasn't a fan of that. this some creators and some people are going to say that it's woke. It's not woke, not at all. Not even 1% woke, because it was action packed throughout the entire time. And yes, there was politics because Lex Luthor was playing both sides. He was creating weapons. He was selling weapons to countries that potentially could be in civil war with each other, in war with each other. So he's playing both sides, and he's trying to villainize Superman at the same time and kill him at the same time. And he has a pocket portal, and he has like a million other things that he's doing. He's creating supervillains basically. So like he has all this stuff, and it had nothing to do with being woke. And it's like there was no like, well, we're gonna do this storyline because it's popular to somebody on the left in 2025. They never did that at all. Like I never saw them be like, well, marginalized people in 2025, Superman shouldn't be doing that. They never did that at all. I mean, I never felt like anything was kind of like force fed down my throat, which I'm going to hate immediately. I don't care what it is. If it's force fed down my throat, I hate it. And I never felt like it was ever force fed down my throat. So if I was out of 10, if I say out of 10, I would probably say a 9. I would give it a 9 out of 10. I thought the action was great. I thought it was nonstop. Like there's stuff everywhere. You didn't know who to trust and all this other stuff. I thought all that stuff was great. I just didn't like being force-fed characters for sake of them making a movie in the future. That was probably the main thing that I took away from it that I didn't like. Where it's like it's called Superman, not Super Friends with a bunch of people that we're going to make movies about. You know what I mean? Like, so that's why I give it a 9 out of 10. But it's very entertaining. I liked it. And then Supergirl and the dog at the dog in the movie. The dog was annoying, but then you learn to like the dog, where it was sort of like at the beginning he's a nuisance, but then throughout the movie when you kind of see that he's starting to get a little bit more closer with Superman is able to use him, and you'll see that at the end where the dog comes in handy. And then at the end where Superman basically foils the crime and he goes back and he's getting ready to recharge himself with his sunbeam type thing, and he's getting ready to sit in his chair, and then all of a sudden you hear somebody like smashing around stuff in the background, and it's Supergirl showing up to pick up her dog, and she's bombed. She's completely annihilated. Like, hey, that's Supergirl. And so it was kind of funny. I don't know I know Supergirl is Superman's cousin, but I don't know if she's always bombed. I don't know that part of her, but I don't know. Hopefully it's not retarded, just for sake of putting Supergirl in a movie by herself. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I'm not a fan of that, but we'll see. So I'm going to say 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. There were some story points with kind of like, I don't like being force-fed characters because you want to make a movie out of them in the future. You know what I mean? And Marvel does the same thing. So it's not like just James Gunn doing it. And there was a couple little funny little bits, but I'm glad that they kept them relatively reserved. It wasn't like Guardians of the Galaxy where it was like constantly there was some sort of little comedy bit or something. There was a couple things that Superman had said, but for the most part, I'm glad that they kept him pretty stoic and very like basically within business. He's focused on saving the world or saving Lois Lane or saving whoever. So I enjoyed the movie, and if some people says it's woke and all this other, don't listen to it. Definitely go watch the movie. I give it 2 thumbs up. I give it 9 out of 10 stars, and I thought it was super fun. So thank you everybody for watching. I appreciate it, and we'll see you guys. We'll see you Sunday. We're doing a stream about wrestlers that became actors. So it's gonna be a fun stream because sometimes we get deep into stuff like Manson family and all this other stuff. So this one's gonna be more of a fun stream, So, but thank you everybody for watching, and we'll see you Sunday.